Hey there, Eric O'Sullivan, Reverend Sully, the irreverent reverend of all things geeky, the anti-pope and guru of Xanadu, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, pal, gal, or anywhere in the grand spectrum of humanity that you reside in between. Thank you very much for tuning in. I got an elevator pitch, an idea. I'm a huge comic book fan, a lifelong Marvel fan. I love Captain America. I'm Team Cap. I'm a huge fan of the MCU movies. Well, there's a few I haven't seen that not all right. Who cares? But I like the Captain America movies. I like the Iron Man movies, and I like the Avengers movies as well. And this scene here from Avengers 2, The Age of Ultron in 2015, brings something really dynamic into the continuity and canon and the overall story of Marvel characters. This relationship between Natasha and Bruce Banner. Now, I have an idea, an elevator pitch, and just hear me out real quick. I would love to see this exclusive to the MCU. And as what we've been asking for, new properties. This is my idea. This is pre-blip, so that means you can do something 5 years later, and after Natasha dies, and add a new character with fantastic comic book kind of consequences and all you need to do is spin a good story. Here it comes. The love child of this union, right here. They loved each other, they were intimate, and they conceived a daughter, and her name's Ellie. Why Ellie? That's from Deep Impact, the Extinction Level event, and that's who she is. And I also call her the Green Widower. No, that's not going to work, because that's like rural juror. Yeah, try it. It doesn't come off the mouth too easily. The Green Widower. Oh my gosh, I wrote that down. I didn't say it aloud first though. But that's my idea. How Natasha was sterilized. And you know what? It's a bad idea for Bruce Banner to be having any children. If any fans of the comic books know that Old Man Logan, that's what happens when you have banners. But also, at the end of Old Man Logan, it's something that people forgot. You have Old Man Logan with the infant Bruce Banner Jr., this little green baby. And if you can imagine Mandalorian holding Grogu, then there are images of Old Man Logan holding infant Bruce Banner Jr. in this alternate future from a comic book about 20 years ago or so. Maybe less than 20 years ago. But I digress. Okay, I call it Gamma-Induced Parthenogenesis. Okay, real quick. I love big words. Fiction brings big words into our lives. Parthenogenesis. Definition. Yeah, okay. Reproduction from an ovum without fertilization, especially as a normal process in some invertebrates, in lower plants. So reproduction without the male pollinating the female's eggs. And so throw in some kind of fantastic, spectacular story device that Bruce Banner's Gamma. Hulk is about survival. In a way, it's about anger, and it's about anger as a theme, but also another theme is survival, and that Banner is actually, his story, his metaphor is survival. It is that he's found a way to evolve, and that his gamma-based powers would have interacted with Natasha's biology in a way that a parthenogenesis was created, because they took away Natasha's ovaries. So what eggs would she have in order to fertilize? Huh? That's why it's a comic book, and that's why it's like, so in the 5-year blip, Natasha in the first year, had a baby, and her name was Ellie. She's a little green infant, and then someday, Yelena finds her in a D+ show or another movie, and then Banner gets to play reluctant, something we've never seen before, Father Hulk, or have we seen? Because there's also Scar, Son of Hulk, and that comes from World War Hulk, Planet Hulk. Those were great books, but thank you, Greg Pak, and thank you for blocking me. Whatever, I mean, but don't confuse the art with the artist, and those were really, really good Hulk stories. I like Hulk stories. I'm a kid of the 70s. I grew up with the Bill Bixby Show, David Bruce Banner, and Lou Ferrigno. I also grew up with comic books. With Black Widow is everywhere in Marvel Comics, and even in the early 2000s, she was a big part of the Bendis Malieve Daredevil book. I loved that book, and we say things about Bendis now, but Bendis was Bendis at his peak. Bendis in the early 2000s, it was really, really awesome. And Natasha has historically been with other superheroes, specifically Tony Stark and Matt Murdock, to name two. And there's this great scene, this cute little story beat where Matt's down on his luck. He's beaten. He's looking for his friend's help. So he unbidden, as Matt Murdock, walks up the stairs to Natasha's flat and knocks on her door, unannounced. And she opens the door, and the first thing she's saying is, "Oh, Tony," thinking it's Tony Stark just dropping by for a booty call. That's the entire subtext of that scene. And she was like a little disappointed to see Matt, but that was just a really nice character moment for me with Natasha, the Black Widow, and but it would be a good way to to perpetuate her story, her secret daughter, who's actually going to grow up to be one of the next generation's mightiest Avengers. I don't know. That's what I got. That's my elevator pitch. It's based on this really good scene, this morning after scene. I know we didn't have any intimacy in Marvel movies since Iron Man 1, where we see Tony have a morning after with the reporter that he hooked up with, and then Pepper dismissing her. That was a fucking great scene. I love these movies. But yeah, this has a lot of gravitas, a lot of character, because they have a relationship, they broke up, and then comes the blip, and if you remember, Hulk comes home in Infinity War, and that was pre-blip, and but he becomes Professor Hulk, but somewhere in that time, because Natasha doesn't sacrifice her life until Endgame, and that's post-blip. So in that 5 years, there was time for my elevator pitch to happen. Loving an elevator pitch, loving it up when you're going down. Aerosmith, huh? And that's what I got. That's my elevator pitch. I had an idea. I love these characters. It's called a non-delusional parasocial relationship. It's this intimate relationship that you have. Maybe it's quasi-intimate because it has all the components of this like deep relationship, but with a fictional character or even someone online. But more so the fictional character. It's why we feel the way we do about Han or Chewie or Indiana Jones or Pavel Chekhov or anyone in fiction. It's why I have a great Mazinger doll and not a Dragoon doll. But what do you think? Do you what's your fanfic? Have you made up any interesting MCU characters? Because in the books, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage had Danny, in the wedding, and the new Avengers, and those were really good Bendis stories as well. They were really good Marvel stories, and I just really enjoyed those years. There was a lot of Luke Cage and a lot of Jessica Jones, and there was just those were good times. And, oh, and by the way, happy 50th anniversary to Luke Cage. I grew up with Luke Cage comic books in the background of my life, and just always loved Luke Cage. Sweet Christmas. He's a great character. But yeah, Bruce and Natasha loved each other, and they had a relationship. And I think there's room in our imaginations to gift Natasha, someone who couldn't have children because of the horrific Red Room of becoming a Black Widow, that she was, sterilized. I mean, why? Well, do you remember Kill Bill? Just when the bride, was in that shootout, and she's like, "I just found out I'm pregnant," and there was the other female hit lady, and she was like, "Oh," and they walked away. I mean, just like, you wouldn't ruin your career, or is that a metaphor for modern stuffs? I don't know. I'm not going there. But what I am saying, Natasha can't have children. She can't bear a baby. But with my gamma-induced, I got this. My gamma-induced parthenogenesis. I mean, it's just an idea. It's just it's a marvel of idea. We've given a child to someone who is childless. I mean, these are we would call miracles or medical miracles. I think there's maybe there's hope in there, or maybe there's a chance for a couple that's struggling to, what I mean, or I don't know. I don't have answers. I just I came up with a really dynamic idea for a new MCU character, and maybe give it the MCU their own Grogu. I mean, Grogu was a huge hit for Star Wars. I mean, like it or hate Disney Star Wars, or wow, the power of Grogu, and which is also the power of the Force. So it's good to see the magic still being perpetuated. The magic might still be there. And but yeah, that's what I got. Give me a thumbs up if you like this material. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. I'm a big lad. I can handle it. Like and subscribe. I'm an ordained minister, an amateur theologian. We get spiritual here a lot. I'm a professional chef. I make a lot of cooking videos. I have a playlist called What's Cooking, so tune into that to find out what's cooking. I make delicious, nutritious, and beautiful food, and so can you. And thank you so much for tuning in to my Marvel Cinematic Universe elevator pitch about a next generation character that I just invented. And I'm trying to sell it. There you go. Call me, Marvel. Let's talk. Cheers.